Hi, I'm Thomas O'Connor, and this is a Fade to Black mini-review of The Tempest. Lover or hater, you can't argue that Julie Taymor knows how to bring some good visuals to the screen, bringing the kind of visual splendor and extravagance that can only come from someone with a background in Broadway. Her 2010 adaptation of Shakespeare's The Tempest is definitely evidence of this, setting Shakespeare's works to often psychedelic effects and visuals. The cast is a mixed bunch. Prospero, now renamed Prospera and recast as Woman, is played by Helen Mirren, who brings an excellent performance to the table. The demon Caliban is played by actor Jimon Hunsu, whose performance teeters back and forth between subtle and over-the-top. Unfortunately, the two supposed leads, Miranda and Ferdinand, played by Felicity Jones and Reeve Carney, have all the chemistry of a pair of garishly dressed bricks. Similarly, the normally entertaining Russell Brand occasionally capers into the screen with the slumming for work Alfred Molina in tow, desperately trying to provide some comic relief, and usually failing. What will set most people off in this thing is Taymor's stout refusal to play by any kind of rules. Put simply, this is a Shakespeare adaptation that maintains all the florid language of the original source material, but whose soundtrack often features squealing rock guitars, and whose wardrobe is only really period authentic when it feels like it. The fast and loose style for the sake of style Broadway ethos is in full swing here. If you can handle that, great, but I wouldn't blame you for decrying the rampant use of zippers in the costumes. The one thing that I'll really moan about is the ending, which is incredibly abrupt and offers little real closure. The entire ending monologue has been warped into a droning ballad that gets played over the end credits. And I mean, it's the ending monologue, for God's sake. It's the coda of the entire damn play. It's the denouement. You don't set it to music and give it to some Janis Joplin wannabe to wail out while someone idly plucks a guitar string. It's like if you did Midsummer Night's Dream but turned Now Our Revels Here Have Ended into a polka. Not only does it rob us of what would have been another great performance by Mirren, but it makes the ending of the movie incredibly abrupt and unsatisfying, like if I ended this review right here. Hi, I'm Thomas O'Connor, and this is a Fade to Black mini-review of O's, Den-O, All Rider, Let's Go Kamen Riders. Well, given that I reviewed the Super Sentai franchise's big 35th anniversary blowout last time, it's only fair that I take a look at a film celebrating 40 years of another Japanese superhero mainstay, the Kamen Rider franchise. The film takes place during the events of Kamen Rider O's, and sees O's team up with New Den-O for a brief time travel adventure that leads to a Back to the Future 2-style alternate timeline, where the evil Shocker organization rules the world. And only a team-up of every rider in the franchise's history can set things right. Except for the riders from the first and the next movies, because we don't talk about those. The film moves along at a decent clip, with enough action to keep you interested and enough fan wank to keep fans, well, wanking. The problem is that, especially when you compare it to the Super Sentai anniversary movie, the film just doesn't go the extra step, and the first place you notice that is the appearances by previous Kamen Rider actors, or rather, the lack thereof. Sure, we've got the original actors for Kamen Rider Ichigo and Nigo providing voices, and an appearance by Shotaro and Philip from Kamen Rider Double, but that's basically it. When all the other riders show up for the climactic final showdown, for really contrived and bullshit reasons, by the way, most of them don't have a single line of dialogue, much less a henshin scene. This is the kind of franchise-spanning story that Decade is all about. You're telling me you couldn't get Masahiro Inoue on set for one afternoon? And you got Tetsuo Kurata back to play Black and Black RX in Decade, but you couldn't coax him into a recording studio to throw in some dialogue? Come on, this is the 40th anniversary, throw us a bone here! As I mentioned before, the climax of the film is also kind of rushed, not nearly as satisfying as the climax from 199 Great Hero Battle. I mean, sure, the final all-rider break attack is pretty sweet, but we need more to go on. The opening scene from 199 Great Hero Battle is leagues more exciting than anything you'll see in this movie. This just doesn't feel like the big no-holds-barred Kamen Rider extravaganza that the series deserves. It's not bad by any stretch, but it feels like something's missing. Maybe if we wait until the 50th anniversary, Toei will give us something a little better to work with.